Okay, we are back with Witcher 3. First time I've ever streamed it on YouTube. That's the first. So I'm just going to make this a really quick stream. I'm not going to be probably doing anything in The Witcher. I want to talk about Saturday night's main event and Double or Nothing because I've just watched them PLEs. There we go. So first off, Saturday night's main event on May 23rd from Fort Wayne, Indiana, at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum. 5 matches on the card, a very short Saturday night's main event, a very decent Saturday night's main event as well. Better than WrestleMania Night 1, not saying a lot, considering Mania Night 1 was really poor. Like, Mania Night 1 was just really poor overall. So I'll quickly go through the matches. I've just finished watching Saturday night's main event. And I've also finished watching Double or Nothing. I watched Double or Nothing first up. That didn't finish till like 5 in the morning, UK Standard Time. It aired at 1 a.m., the main show. And yeah, let's just quickly go through Saturday night's main event. First up was the 6-woman tag team match. Jade Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab defeating the team of Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss. Rhea Ripley, of course, the WWE Women's Champion, who will be facing Jade Cargill at this upcoming week's PLE Clash in Italy. A decent match, decent 6-man tag, you know, full of... The story going into it was can Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair put aside their differences, and didn't really work in the end because Jade Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab with their Michael Jackson tribute act decided to win the match, the better team. Of course, go figure. The moment that you're in a non-title match, the champion loses, the champion then wins the match for the actual title. A pretty decent opener for what it was. Next up was Sol Ruka. She faced Becky Lynch. Originally, it was going to be a lot more longer, that match. But things did not pan out that way. It was also going to be for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, but that decided to get changed to just a normal match. And also, it got changed into a shorter match. I don't know if they were pressed for time, but it was pretty much a Sol Ruka showcase and a bit of a Sol Ruka burial because Sol Ruka, she botched the Soul Snatcher, hitting Jessica Carr, the referee. Automatic disqualification because Becky pulled the referee in front of her and making sure Becky doesn't get hit with the Soul Snatcher. Becky Lynch did not win. It was Sol Ruka by disqualification, which sets up their huge Intercontinental Championship match at Clash in Italy. A very rushed match, pretty much let's get Sol Ruka over with some of her moves. And even then, I just felt like it was just so stupid to bury her when she just came up to the main roster. Next up was for the Intercontinental Championship, Penta defending the Intercontinental Championship against All Ego himself, Ethan Page, in a pretty damn good match. The finish as well was really good. A crossbody into a Mexican destroyer from the middle ropes or just bouncing off the ropes was really good. A really good spot. Both men had some really good chemistry together. Ethan Page is a fantastic heel. I love the All Ego gimmick. But sadly, it wasn't to be, and I wasn't expecting any big surprises for Saturday night's main event. I usually don't expect anything to happen on a Saturday night's main event card. And I kind of got what I've expected. Jade Cargill's team to win. I expected Sol Ruka to win anyway because it wasn't for the women's IC title. I kind of expected Penta to win, given Ethan Page. You can wait a little bit longer to pull the title on Ethan Page. The women's tag team titles, which is next, Paige and Brie Bella defending the women's tag team titles against the Irresistible Forces, Lash Legend and Nia Jax. Pretty decent match, very short as well, barely going 10 minutes. In fact, it went 8 minutes. A pretty good match. It had the Bella Magic moment with Paige kind of rolling up Lash Legend and Brie putting her foot on Paige's ass to pretty much give her more leverage and advantage to retain the women's tag team titles. So fair enough. I guess that's the end for the Irresistible Forces in terms of women's tag team title opportunities. Who knows what they're going to do at Clash in Italy if the women's tag titles are going to get defended. And the main event is a tag team match for the World Tag Team titles. The Vision, accompanied to the ring by Paul Heyman, Austin Theory, and Logan Paul, the champions, against the Street Profits, Montez Ford, and Angelo Dawkins, the challengers, in a pretty average main event. Not really much happened. There was a pretty good spot with Angelo Dawkins, pretty much shoulder barging Bron Breakker, who was going to go for the DQ win. The DQ win for the Profits, which would have retained the World Tag Team titles for the Vision. But nah, it just kind of... It really was just a bog standard Raw match, really. 4-on-2 interference, Vision retain the World Tag Team titles, and that's kind of it. I don't really care for the World Tag Team titles. I don't think anyone does, to be honest. And that sets us up for Clash in Italy, which will be airing May 31st, 2026 at the Inalpi Arena in Turin, Italy. The first ever time WWE has ever hosted a PLE in Italy. Got some good matches going. Cody Rhodes will face Gunther for the undisputed WWE Championship. Rhea Ripley will defend the women's title against Jade Cargill. Becky Lynch will face Sol Ruka for the women's IC title, which was just made official on Saturday night's main event, as well as the Rhea Ripley match. And Roman Reigns will face Jacob Fatu in Tribal Combat for the World Heavyweight Championship. So that's going to be some pretty good matches for Clash in Italy. Probably won't be watching it because I will be streaming my own PLE Evolution, the first ever all-women's PLE. I'm just going to really quick fly through the Double or Nothing, the first ever time I ever watched Double or Nothing, which is the equivalent to WrestleMania for AEW. A really good show. Mick Foley made his AEW debut. So that's pretty good. He's just signed with the company. Former WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley signing with AEW, pretty damn good. Cal Fletcher made his return, having been out with an injury since March. I didn't really watch the pre-show, so I'll just quickly rattle through the pre-show. Next AEW PLE is Forbidden Door, the cross-promotional extravaganza of the summer, where AEW, CMLL of Mexico, World Wonder Ring Stardom, and New Japan Pro Wrestling of Japan are coming together for a big cross-promotional event. That will also be where the men and women's Owen Hart Cup final will be held. So Double or Nothing, which aired from Queens, New York. Real quick, the pre-show, a 5-minute tag team eliminator match had the team of Zeta Steel and Viva Van won in the 5 minutes, lasted the 5 minutes. They would have earned a future AEW Women's World Tag Team title match. They didn't. They lost to the Divine Dominion, Megan Bayne and Lena Cross. The whole idea was that nobody could beat them, never mind even just beating them within 5 minutes. It reminded me of the Braun Strowman Sami Zayn feud, where they had a time limit for their match. Elimination Chamber 2017 or something like that. Maybe even Fastlane 2017. I can't really remember, to be honest, but I didn't really watch the pre-show, so well done to Megan Bayne and Lena Cross for winning the match. The Death Riders of Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Garcia, and Wheeler Yuta, accompanied to the ring by Marina Shafir, defeated the Ops, Anthony Bowens, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata in a trios match. Pretty good trios match as well. And the last match on the pre-show was a 10-man tag. Boom and Doom, Big Boom, AJ, and QT Marshall, and the conglomeration of Roderick Strong, Mark Briscoe, and Orange Cassidy, accompanied to the ring with Big Justice, Harley Cameron, and the Rizzler. And they defeated Shane Taylor Promotions of Shane Taylor, Anthony Ogogo, Captain Sean Dean, Charlie Bravo, and Lee Moriarty, accompanied to the ring by Christian XO. Pretty, car crash match for the sake of being a car crash match on the pre-show of an AEW PLE. Now we kick off the actual PLE with a New York Street Fight I Quit match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Had Adam Copeland and Christian Cage lost, they would have disbanded as a tag team forever. Of course, Edge and Christian Cage and Adam Copeland, would go on to defeat FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler, aka Fuck the Revival, aka The Revival, accompanied to the ring with Stokely. Pretty damn brutal match, really damn good I Quit match, probably one of the best I Quit matches I've ever seen, maybe up there with Cena and Randy Orton at Breaking Point 09, like some of the best I Quit matches, because it just had everything, and Cage and Copeland calling back to like Team 3D with the tables, concertos with, calling back to them as a tag team, ladders, so you're thinking Hardy Boys, it was really good. Beth Phoenix made her return, helping out her husband, Adam Copeland, and her Cope's friend and long-term Bezzy, Christian Cage. Really good tag team match. Fucking brilliant match to open things up on Double or Nothing. I wasn't expecting Cope and Cage to win the tag team titles, so they are probably the first, besides the Revival, the first WWE tag team and AEW tag team champions in the history of both brands, besides the Revival. And I kind of expected a little bit. I kind of expected the team to kind of lose. I was kind of expecting them to fall flat. Maybe they'll get a huge win on maybe a Canadian PLE, but no. In the end, Cope and Cage are the new tag team champions, and I think they'll have a short reign because I just can't see them progress further with Adam Copeland and Christian Cage as tag team champions. There's really some great spots as well in the match, like Cope taking a assisted spike pile driver on the announce table, knowing the fact that Edge has a history with neck problems, was mental to partake in that spot. But a great match nonetheless. The next match for the AEW International Championship, something AEW has a problem with is that they have too many titles, too many mid-card titles. Like, really, you only need a world title, a mid-card title for men and women, a women's title that is considered the world title for the women, tag team titles for men, and tag team titles for women. You don't need six-man tag titles. You don't need an international title or a continental title or stuff like that. It's just rather silly. But the AEW International Championship match, Konosuke Takeshita, the former IWGP Heavyweight Champion and current New Japan Strong Heavyweight Champion, I think, defeated the former IWGP Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada, one of the greatest Japanese wrestlers of all time. Really damn good match. You had stuff like Takeshita hitting a Rainmaker, Okada hitting a Rainmaker with Takeshita on the ring apron, some really good spots. And in the end, Konosuke Takeshita Takeshita would win the AEW International Championship and be kicked out of the Don Callis family thanks to a heel turn, or a big, swift heel turn, by Carl Fletcher, the former TNT champion, making his return to AEW TV, betraying his best friend Konosuke Takeshita. So that'll be good going forward to see what they do with Takeshita moving forward with the AEW International Championship. Next up was the only Women's Owen Hart Cup quarter-final. Athena, the current Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, she defeated Mina Shirakawa. Pretty good match, pretty bog standard. They kind of worked over on the leg of Athena, but in the end, Athena just bolstered up a lot of her magic and won the match. She's on a really good winning streak, about 77 matches unbeaten or something like that. She hasn't been beaten in ages, which is pretty good to see. So I think she's going to be the one that actually wins the Women's Owen Hart Cup as well at Forbidden Door. I'll quickly get through the other Owen Hart Cup matches. The quarterfinals, Swerve Strickland defeated Bandido in a really fucking good match. Bandido selling the back of his head. You had some insane level spots like Bandido doing the 21-plex and then selling the back of his head. You had him doing a 21-plex again on Swerve. You had Swerve hitting the house call when he was standing on top of Bandido. Like some brilliant balance by Swerve Strickland. And in the end, I feel like I'm just going to be jumping straight into that Linkin Park song any second. But Swerve Strickland, accompanied with Prince Nana, the former AEW World Champion, goes on to the semi-finals of the Owen Hart Cup in a really damn good match with the Ring of Honor World Champion Bandido. Next up, the final Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal was Samoa Joe against Will Ospreay. A pretty decent match. Will Ospreay hitting things out of the blue and just going straight at it with Samoa Joe in a pretty decent flurry of offense until Joe kind of came back, and then eventually I think he got out of Joe's Kikina clutch. And then it was like a few hidden blades, one hidden blade, Joe kicks out at one, another hidden blade, 1, 2, 3, Will Ospreay advances to the semi-finals, and I think it's going to be Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland in the final of the men's Owen Hart Cup at Forbidden Door. Next up was the no time limit match for the AEW Continental Championship. Kyle O'Reilly, who has a 2-match win streak against Jon Moxley, against the champion, the leader of the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, in a pretty decent match. Not their best match, not better than the Full Gear match, not better than the All Out match that they had. In a rarity, Jon Moxley did not bleed. It was bog standard. Nobody got involved with the conglomeration on Kyle O'Reilly's part. No one got involved on the Death Riders side for Moxley. About the only thing interesting really was JR doing the commentary for the match, and JR calling Kyle O'Reilly this young kid. And I don't know, Kyle O'Reilly's like pretty big name in wrestling, and kind of just gets a little bit of I don't know, like pushed to the side a bit by JR, I guess, on commentary. But it was an okay match for what it was. Kyle O'Reilly shakes hands with Jon Moxley in celebration. Moxley celebrates with the Death Riders. And that's about it. It's kind of weird to see Moxley and the Death Riders as baby faces, or at least tweeners at this rate. But it was okay for what it was. No time limit. I think the match where they exceeded the time limit was far better. I think that was on Dynamite this week. I didn't watch it. Sadly, I don't really watch AEW that much, but when I do watch AEW, I clearly get treated to a fucking brilliant showcase of professional wrestling. Certainly a lot more than Saturday Night's main event, let me tell you. 4-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Tekla retained against Hiraku Shida, Jamie Hayter, and Chris Statlander. Pretty damn good match. The women were just trying to give it their all pretty much throughout the entire match, and fair fucks. You had Chris Statlander biting on the fingers of Tekla, who was kind of ripping her mouth open, and you had Tekla jumping off from the crossbody, off the top rope of the diving crossbody onto all three women. You had Shida and Statlander doing some tag team offense. They kind of have a little friendship going on. Jamie Hayter got some good spots. It was pretty good for what it was. Really good. Tekla is still the women's world champion. Yeah, fair enough. I've no real opinion. I don't really watch AEW TV that much. I don't watch Collision. I don't watch Rampage when that was on. I don't really watch Dynamite. So I don't really keep up to date with what's happening in AEW that much. I only know some briefings, like I knew the Takeshita and Okada feud. I knew Jericho came back. I knew MJF was going to put his title on the line, was going to get a rematch for the AEW World title and stuff like that. But I could not, I don't really keep up to date with AEW that much compared to WWE, so I couldn't really tell you, this is what happened on Dynamite, this is what happened on Collision. I'm most likely going to be going up to people and saying, this is what happened on Raw, and then this is what happened on SmackDown. Oh, by the way, this is what happened on Saturday Night's main event. This is what's happening at Clash in Italy, etc. This is what I thought of the PLE, if I even bothered to stay up, which for WWE PLEs normally I don't. All right, penultimate match, Stadium Stampede, and this match went on for quite a long time, but it was a really fucking good match. And I've seen bits and bits of the Stadium Stampede match from 2020, the one with the Elite against the Inner Circle, and Matt Hardy was there. I think it was the one where Matt Hardy legit suffered a concussion, as well as Sammy Guevara taking a one-winged angel from high up in the stadium, and going through a bunch of tables or something like that. I've seen that spot. I've not seen the entire match though, so this is the first proper Stadium Stampede match I've watched. Maybe the one with the Blackpool Combat Club when they were in around. I think they had a Stadium Stampede. I remember watching that one, but this was full on Falls Count Anywhere mental car crash match explosion. It was The Demand, Ricochet, Bishop Khan, and Toa Leona teaming up with the Don Callis family of Mark Davis and Andrade El Idolo, and the Dogs, Clark Connors and David Finlay, and they faced, accompanied to the ring by MVP, the Hurt Syndicate, Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, Chris Jericho, and the Elite of Jungle Boy Jack Perry, Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, and the greatest wrestler of all fucking time, at least currently going, Kenny Omega. Fucking brilliant opening with them getting into the arena, especially with Jericho's team coming out with Metallica in the background. Kenny Omega swallowing a cigar smoke, which like a dumbass was pretty hilarious. And then just everything in that match, every fucking spot, you had stupid shit like the Young Bucks super kicking one of the opponents because they were in a shopping trolley and he had a trash can over his head. You had shit like Luther, Tony Storm's butler handing Chris Jericho this comically oversized tennis racket, like something out of a fucking cartoon. It was, and just hitting Ricochet with it. You had Ricochet taking a suplex on tennis balls. You had Jungle Boy Jack Perry hitting Mark Davis with, I think, a vacuum, not a vacuum cleaner, but a vacuum bag, and shit going everywhere. You had the Young Bucks putting each other through tables. Kenny Omega doing a one-winged angel through a table on, not Ricochet, Andrade. Jericho is at the end doing his tribute to Sabu by putting himself through the table. And then just crazy spots like Jungle Boy Jack Perry nearly killing Mark Davis. This fucking car crash match was exactly what it is, a car crash match. Total, complete anarchy. But fuck me, was I entertained for that 31 minutes. Sleep deprived as I was with the raging heat going on. I mean, seriously, fuck the heat. Fuck having heat waves and all that kind of shit. Climate change and all that bollocks. But fucking hell, this match was really top fucking class. Loved it from beginning to end. The right team won. The Jericho, the Hurt Syndicate, and the Elite. Just a fantastic match. Well out of your way. If you're going to watch Double or Nothing or to get into AEW, to AEW, you got to watch Stadium Stampede. I don't care which Stadium Stampede. The one with the Inner Circle against the Elite, or fucking go for this one because it was just crazy as fuck. And then the final match, title versus hair for the AEW World Championship. Darby Allin, the former champion, yes, former champion, because he lost to Maxwell Jacob Friedman, aka MJF, who keeps his hair and is a three-time AEW heavyweight champion. Great spot as well. Darby doing 2 suicide dives, one where he nearly necked himself, which was mental, and then another one where he hit the cameraman. MGF gave him a package pile driver, so he went headfirst onto the steel steps. Darby tried to do a coffin drop on the corner, but that failed because MGF moved out the way. But MGF did get put through a table from a coffin drop when Darby Allin climbed to the top of this entranceway, the scaffolding. He did the bang bang, a tribute to Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, whatever you want to call him. Does the coffin drop. MGF is wiped out, and you're thinking Darby Allin's going to win this. They even tried to do the thing what they did at Spring Break, where Darby kicks MGF in the nuts and goes for the takedown or the crossface takedown or whatever it's called. Goes for goes 1 2 1 2 1 2. I think they do that for a good few minutes. I think they trade near falls as well. Like there was literally a spot where it went 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 1 1 1, fucking kicking out of stupid shit. And MGF, he didn't use the diamond ring. It was kind of a relatively cleanish finish. And then the TNT champion Kevin Knight came out to try and defend Darby Allin, who was then put on a stretcher, but Knight jumped off the top rope, cross-bodied onto Darby, who's on the stretcher. The stretcher and Darby, of course, fall into the ground. MGF's like, yay, I don't have to worry about this bastard who beat me. And Kevin Knight is healed. The TNT champion is healed going into Dynamite post Double or Nothing. Truly fantastic show. You've got to go out your way to see the pay-per-view. Just a fantastic showing from AEW over the WWE. And the next WWE PLE, May 31st, 2026 in Italy, Clash in Italy. And for AEW, they won't be going on PLE until June 28, 2026 at San Jose's SAP Center, the SAP Center in San Jose, California. And that will be obviously the big cross-promotional extravaganza with New Japan, Stardom, CMLL, Ring of Honor, and AEW, of course. And that's where you'll find the final of the Owen Hart Cup for both men and women. So yeah, Double or Nothing, highly recommend that over Saturday night's main event. Saturday night's main event was okay. Double or Nothing massively beat Saturday night's main event. And yeah. Tune in for the next stream, which will be vocal for Twitch, not YouTube, which we will be doing Snooker Blitz. So tune in.